Good evening and welcome to this session of the live virtual classes conducted by the Board of Studies Academics of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. This is Srikanth and happy to be back interacting with all of you. Today, we will be discussing the topic registration of charges. There are a lot of friends who are wishing me. Let me acknowledge them by name. We have Mr. Navneet Maurya from the Central Region. Good evening, sir. Mr. Linga from Southern Region. Welcome, sir. And Pooja. Okay. Also, we have Savia Khan. Suggestion. I thank you all for your greetings in one shot, and I proceed with the session. I really love. As usual, whenever you have a doubt, query, feel free to put it in the chat box or in the query pad. If you have access to the query pad, in case you have no access or you're unable to connect because you're connecting from the mobile phone, don't worry. Just put up your query in the chat box. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Harsh. I'm also happy to see you again. And today is a very interesting topic, very short and sweet, but we will spend a little time on this. Analyzing the important concepts. Okay, good. Nice to see Ashlesha from Western Region, Adil Khan. Wow, nice to see all of you people here. And okay, nice. What I'll do is I'll keep continuing, and when we will take it up. Don't worry. When I see something nice. So, friends, we started with the incorporation of a company. Thereafter, you went into topics like, I'm sure, prospectus, share capital and debentures, etc., etc. Now, but for debentures, you have now understood the legal framework, the law, corporate law relating to the liability side of the balance sheet to the extent of shareholders' funds. See, you understand what I'm saying now. If you look at the balance sheet, on the liability side, you have equity and you have debt. Forget debt. Equity part, you have now almost thorough. You know what is free reserve, you know what is share capital, you know what is net worth, you know what is capital reserve, revaluation reserve, capital redemption reserve, etc., etc., and more on security premium account, issue of bonus shares, etc., etc., preference shares. So you know about you of course you know the accounting very well. Now you know the legal background also, and which sections are there. What are the corporate law provisions which also need to be complied for these activities? Want to issue bonus shares, want to issue right shares, all that. From the company law perspective, fantastic. Thereafter, you went into debentures, thereby you got into debt. You got into secured debt, unsecured also. Now, I think deposits is yet to come. No, you also covered deposits. Which means secured and unsecured debt you have covered. Right. Now we come to something relating to debt. Right. Whenever a company issues secured debt, what is the meaning of the word secured? In case the company is not able to repay the loan, the creditor, who is a secured creditor, will be able to take a particular asset or a class of assets. He will get the right to sell it and recover his loan. Such an asset which is given as a security. That's why it's called secured creditor. An asset belonging to the company is given as a security for a loan given by some person. Whenever a company gives an asset as security, then such a act of giving the asset as security is called creation of charge. Right? So this is the first step. So this chapter deals with that, charges. And it is very important from a larger perspective. I want you for a moment to go back to incorporation topic when we discussed the doctrines. I want you to relate to the doctrine of constructive notice. We will come to that again in this chapter. What is the doctrine of constructive notice? When any document is filed with the registrar of companies, the NCA ka website portal, it becomes a public document. Thereafter, doctrine of constructive notice will apply. Any person wanting to deal with the company is deemed to have read those documents. So if you understand that, you will understand registration of charges better. So just keep that in mind while doing this. So we will be talking about what is the meaning of a charge, which I have in a very simple term I have explained. Legally, we will see the definition. The definition of charge under the Companies Act is confusing. Don't worry about that. I will clear it for you. More importantly, 77, section 77A है, बहुत important section. Important section. You have to, you can say that is at the heart of this topic. Whole topic is linked to this one section. Duty of the company to register charges, consequence of non-registration for charge. That is more important. What are the effects of not registering the charge? You should understand it. Okay. Then the procedure of application for registration, inspection of the charge. Who can inspect? Obviously, it's a public document, so inspection, etc., etc. Then, what about I buy a property on which a charge is already there? Procedure. What about if I make some changes in the terms and conditions or the amount value of the charge, whatever, some, shall we say, I'm making some rectification or changes, okay, modification. That also should be registered. All that will be covered. Okay. Finally, the charge is satisfied in some way by payment or by adjustment or by exchange of asset, whatever. If it is, when it is satisfied also, you have to inform the registrar. Meaning you have to comply with the formality of registration. Just like you, when you created the charge, you registered it. Similarly, when you close it, you have to file this in the records of the registrar of companies. Because it is a public document. I am a creditor. I'm sorry, I am a person who is going to lend money to the company. I go to the NCA portal and I check, putting your number, I check. I see a charge is there on that asset. I can say, hey, there's already a charge. No, already paid. Here's the proof. It's okay. But it is still appearing as a charge in the registrar ka register. So that is not correct. So these are the things. And similarly, punishment as usual. Companies Act means punishment. Every section has penalties. And of course, rectification, meaning in case somebody forgot it, they didn't register, what to do? Is there no way? There is. One method is there. We'll see that. Finally, the rectification is possible. In fact, here itself, they give you a lot of time, Baba. The time for registration, earlier it was 30 plus 30, 60. Uske baad you have to go to the tribunal and all that, court and all that. Now then tribunal. Now they are saying another 60 days. So you got a lot of time. If you still don't do, you can register. But there are certain points you have to understand. Right? Now, before I go to the next slide, let me see. Okay. Yes, you are absolutely correct, Kuldeep. My doctrine of constructive notice it is assumed that the person is deemed to have the information about any document which is filed with the registrar, which is a public document. Yeah, I thank Harsh for giving me this information. Pari Pasu, I will explain. Don't worry. When we come to that, I will explain. Pari Pasu charge. Navneet Maurya. I will explain. In the context, see, when you studied debenture, I hope you studied Pari Pasu debentures. At that time, you would have studied first charge also. I will tell you. Definitely, I will tell you Pari Pasu. Pari Pasu is a very important concept. I will tell you. I just, because sometimes, मैं बुढ़ा हो गया ना, so I'm forgetting. So I'm just making a note. Pari Pasu. So I won't forget it. So this is the definition. Charge is an interest or lien. Charge is an interest or lien. Lien, you know that. You studied in contract. Remember, special contracts by Baylor's lien. Bailey's lien, sorry, Bailey's lien. Lien is the right to retain unless something is done. For example, when you pledge jewelry, it amounts to a lien. There's a lien in favor of the pawnee. And that pawn, that is a pledge being a special type of bailment, he will not return the goods or articles unless the loan is repaid. So there is a link between an asset and a loan. So I am giving a loan for which I am taking a security. So the security is charged. The security is bound until the loan is paid. Okay. So a charge is an interest or lien. It is created on property or assets of a company. So property, assets, or any of its undertakings or both. See, property, एक property, where a building, vehicle, motor vehicle, that's simple. Okay, it is one property. Asset, etc. one. But suppose I'm having a plant, a factory, okay, a complete cement factory in Jamnagar, or preferably in Thadepalligudam. Complete cement factory, meaning what? Land, building, machinery, blah, blah, blah. Everything together, that entire unit is called one undertaking. So this undertaking itself, I can give as a security. Usually how will it happen, suppose you are setting up that cement plant, Baba. You can't put the entire money. So what you will do, you will put the basic equity, which will be 25% or whatever. The balance 75% will be given by the financial institution or bank. Now at that time, they will say, boss, entire land, building, everything you create a lien in my favor. Sorry, you create a charge in my favor. That is called charge created on the entire undertaking. I'm giving cement plant as an example. Any such thing, any business activity which is seen as a single thing. All the assets used in it, in the liabilities incurred for it, everything put together become undertaking. It is created as security for repayment of a loan. So it is an interest or lien. It is created on a property or asset or undertaking or both. And it is created as security for repayment of a loan. Right, sir? Very important. Charge includes mortgage. This is where you will get totally, if you read it from the Bare Act or whatever, why should it include, why should it not include like that? I tell you, there is a background for this. To understand this one sentence, you have to have read the Transfer of Property Act. There you will find mortgage alag hai, charge alag hai. And there they will say charge does not include a mortgage. In the Transfer of Property Act, which is the ultimate act for immovable property, anything to do with immovable property will be covered in Transfer of Property Act. Why it is said charge is not including mortgage, because mortgage separately defined, charge separately defined, alag alag hai. Therefore, they say charge does not include mortgage. Where the act of party or operation of law, an asset is given as a security for repayment of a loan, a charge is said to be greater than, does not include a mortgage. So there, Transfer of Property Act. Here, they want to say, forget that. But you will say, sir, I don't even know. Only you are telling me, and then saying, forget, correct. In the Transfer of Property Act, charge does not include mortgage. Yeah, charge includes mortgage. In Companies Act, charge includes mortgage. That is why. Otherwise, no problem. Okay, so don't worry. What is a mortgage? When immovable property is given as security, what happens? No. See, normally movable property transfer of ownership can be effected by mere transfer of possession. Are you able to understand? Transfer of property can be effected by mere transfer of possession. So if I want to give this watch as a security, I simply give it to you. You give me 500 rupees. That's all. Charge created. Like, okay. But immovable property is not so easy. If my house, I'm giving a security for LAP, loan against a property, Citibank. My banker is HSBC, incidentally. So HSBC gave me a loan for purchase of another asset. I gave my main asset as security. So they said, create a mortgage. Normally in India, we are allowed to create what is known as English mortgage, or what is known as equitable mortgage. Means you don't have to pay on the entire value percentage. They fix an amount, say based on the value 40,000, 25,000. In Tamil Nadu, it's 40,000 rupees. And that is the fee by which that in that immovable property records, the sub-registrar will make a note. This property, there is a loan. That is registration under the Registration Act. That is done with the revenue authorities of that taluk or district or whatever. It's totally different from registration under the Companies Act. Both are needed for immovable property. You have to register under the Transfer of Property Act. That becomes the instrument creating the charge. That document has to be now given as a proof for uploading with the Registrar of Companies. Both are needed. Many people don't know this. Okay, important. That's why this topic is very important. Tomorrow, any of you might become a credit appraisal officer in a large private sector bank. Believe me when I say this. The banking and financial sector is not yet grown in India. It is waiting for that one big bang by which it's going to become a totally different ball game. Another 5 years down the line, private banks are going to be it's going to become like America or Europe, where banking would be done on a different method, wherein legal issues will become very, very vital. So if you in case become a credit appraising officer, it's going to be a very, very superb job, where your job will not be to sanction the loan. That is not your problem. You will be going through the whole thing and saying whether this is correct or not, based on which your clearance only the loan will be sanctioned, or the next step in this process will take place online. So your user ID, password, then next step, for which you should see so many things. One of the items that you will have to check is whether any charge is registered for that property in the registrar's office. Also, you should ensure your legal department has given a clearance that there is no charge registered with the sub-registrar. That is usually done by getting what is known as encumbrance certificate. So for that property, for the last 13 years or 20 years, we ask for a copy of the records of the sub-registrar, in which you will know what happened, whether the property was done, change of ownership, everything will be there, including suppose the mortgage is created, that will be noted. That is one checking. In addition to that, you should verify with the registrar whether this charge is registered with the registrar. Why that registration is needed in more detail, I will tell you. Okay, here we are only seeing what is a charge. So charge is when, in simple terms, where any asset of the company is given as security for a loan, whether by way of mortgage or otherwise, a charge is said to be created. Okay, a charge is said to be created. Okay, pledge is not a charge. Pledge of an asset is not a charge under the Companies Act. Just for your information. In simple movable property, pledging is not a charge. Other than pledge, all other, even movable property can be. Like, for example, motor vehicles hypothecation charge, registrable charge, you have to register. Mortgage against immovable property, register. Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, one small thing. Topic related questions in the query pad, I will be able to answer. But somebody is raising a query. I'm not able to join the Zoom class. Nandini Shuklaji, I am seriously not knowing how to do it. Maybe they should contact the help desk. Other than that, any question in the query pad on the topic, definitely I will answer. So charge is created when an asset belonging to the company is offered as a security for a loan. So you are a chartered accountant. Now you are looking at the balance sheet. You are seeing secured loan. You are seeing secured loan. Whatever. The first question you should ask on the asset side, which asset is charged? See how you should proceed. First, see what is the loan, secured loan, bank, working capital loan. What is asset? Stock and debtors. Okay. We'll come to that. It will be a floating charge, etc. You see a term loan. Immediately what asset? Then they will say, no, sir, our first plant we have already fully paid. This is the second plant in Tirunelveli that we have, for which we have taken loan from State Bank of India and a consortium. 25 bankers have come together, lending 200 crores. Entire Tirunelveli factory building, blah, blah, everything is created. So that is how you will link the balance sheet to this. So if you see a secured loan, ask, what is the security? The such side it is there, yes. Is the charge registered? Like that you have to ask. Okay. So whenever an asset is given as a security for repayment of loan, whether by a mortgage or otherwise, a charge is said to be created. Okay. There are two types of charges in that. A fixed charge and a floating charge. Okay. Fixed charge, floating charge. Before we go there, let me see any questions are there. Home loan is not a lien, Ashlesh, Mr. Rahul. Home loan is usually given to individuals. So let us not go there. We are talking about company car loans normally. So home loan will be mortgage. It is a immovable property, a house and building. It will be an immovable property. Okay, it's not, don't call it a lien, call it it's a proper loan against property. And till such time, there will be a charge. Don't use the word lien, because lien is usually applicable to movable goods, mobile property, goods, etc. Please don't use the lien word in connection with immovable property. Okay, that's all. Otherwise, yes, if you remove the word lien and you put mortgage, then until the mortgage loan is fully paid, until the loan is fully paid, the mortgage will be with the bank. Charge will be with the bank. Charge includes reverse mortgage. Yeah, see, basically, what is a reverse mortgage? What is the again? Reverse mortgages are given only for individuals. Yeah. Here we are talking about corporate actions. So please do not confuse. Yeah. Basically, what is a reverse mortgage? You are asking a question. You should know what is a reverse mortgage. See, I am an old man, Buddha ho gaya. I have got a property. My children are not giving me money. That is not so. I have my own income. But suppose a gentleman in Nagpur has got a very nice, beautiful property. But Pune, he's got a very beautiful property. And he doesn't have income. Pension is not enough. His children are all abroad. What he's thinking? Chalo, let me not bother about these fellows. Yeah, when I am there, let me take a loan and enjoy my life. So he takes that property and mortgages it to the bank. But he says, don't give me full amount. This property is worth 20 crore. Don't give me 20 crore. Every year I need about maximum 24 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Give me 2 lakhs per month, 1.5 lakhs per month. Keep on charging interest. Property value will keep on going up. When I die, sell the property, pay the loan. Anything left over, throw to these children who are in America. This is called reverse mortgage. Same. It's the same concept only. Just because it is reverse mortgage, don't think there is something reverse is happening. In a normal mortgage, a single bulk payment will be paid at the time of taking the loan. Whereas in the reverse mortgage, single bulk amount won't be given. An annuity will be paid over a certain period, which is prefixed. Okay? That's all. Just why I'm telling this, in what? If you think about it, you know what is a reverse mortgage, immediately you will come to the conclusion. Hey, both are same only. Our property is given as security, like that. And again, remember, this reverse mortgage, home loan, etc. are not applicable to company. But still, for your knowledge sake, I am explaining it to you. Okay. Charge of immovable property is called mortgage. You are right. Current assets and non-current assets. Why not? Why pakka? Everything, entire balance sheet. Entire balance sheet. Okay. Your entire, including intellectual property, IPR. We are going to see that. You can even mortgage your IPR. No, you can't mortgage IPR. Other than IPR, you can create. Okay. Where, even IPR you can create. You can create a charge on an IPR. Only for deposits, you cannot offer IPR as a security. So, yeah, correct. So, the method of disbursement is different in reverse mortgage, but the legal action is still the same. A property is given as a security, bank is controlling it. They keep on giving you 2 lakh, 2 lakh, 2 lakh. 5 years later, what happens? With interest, it will be what? Think about it. 5 years later, 24 lakhs, you say that itself will be 1 crore 25. So, another minimum 1.4 crores. It will be accumulating. Property value 20 crore. They'll keep on waiting. Finally, after enjoying life, this man passes away. Then first charge. Now come. The bank will have the first charge. They will come and sell the property, or they will tell the children, boss, you want the property, pay the loan, take the property. You don't have money, then I will sell the property. Whatever money is there, you take it to America. You enjoy. That's all. Okay. So I'm giving these examples more for helping you to understand. As future finance related professionals, you should have the clarity in what we are talking about. Humble suggestion. Okay. So because we are like doctors. As far as finance is concerned, we are financial doctors. Now, a doctor cannot be vague about anything. He has to give the medical terms. He has to use the correct terms. Am I correct? So if a doctor goes and says, I think some problem in your throat, even I know that, yeah, it's not a problem. Okay. So he has to tell correctly. Okay, that much he has to tell. So that is how it is. Of course, such technical terms need not be used with lay people. But when we speak, when we talk, between us, we should be clear about the language we are using. It's a humble request. If you think it's worthwhile, you can follow that advice. Okay, where you become more precise in your use of words. Today, believe me, you don't need teacher. You don't need coaching class. Google Gemini hai. You ask a question, she will answer. It will answer or whatever you call. Everything. Today, I'm learning every day new subjects. I go to Google Gemini and ask all sorts of questions. I'm getting answers. I'm learning. Okay, nothing. But still, sometimes teachers like me can come and give you some focused information, which again we have collected from experience and sharing. That experience, maybe Google Gemini will not happen. Okay. So, types of charges. Fixed charge, floating charge. Right? Immediately don't go by the name. Fixed charge means you move a property. Floating charge means some floating property, ships like that. No. You have to understand, fixed charge is on a specific asset. What does it mean? At the time of borrowing, the asset has been identified. A fixed charge is a charge on specific assets of the borrowing company. These assets are identified at the time of creation of charge. Example, mortgage of immovable property. Clearly fixed charge. Your property is given as a security. Against that, loan is taken by the company. Clearly fixed charge on a specific asset which is identified at the time of creation. Another example, hypothecation of motor vehicle. A company buys a motor car. Obviously, there will be a charge. It's called hypothecation. Remember, under the Motor Vehicles Act, in the RC book, lien is marked. That is called lien. Why that is called lien? Because movable property. You're able to understand. But we remember the word lien is used very loosely there because normally for a lien to operate, I should have possession on the property. But here what happens now? Technically, I am having possession there. Technically, symbolically, because one key will be given to me. Just check it out. Whenever you buy a vehicle, whenever a vehicle loan is given, there will be 2 keys given by the manufacturer. No? The bank will keep 1 key and give you 1 key. By which what they are telling, vehicle belongs to, that is under my physical control. Anytime I can come and take that vehicle and go, key is with me, I don't need your key. That's a very, very symbolic way of possessing through symbolic possession. Okay, just maybe I'm giving extra information, but idea is, so in a way, so lien is, so that's a hypothetical. That lien will be marked in the RC book. Later on, if you want to sell the vehicle, the new owner will say, sir, first remove the lien marking, or you have to give him proof of payment of the loan, closer, etc., and sign all the documents by which he will register, whatever it is. Now, if it is a company, then in addition to this documentation under the Motor Vehicle Act, you should also file the document of creation of charge under the Companies Act. Are you able to understand? So the argument, if it is given that, sir, already sub-register maybe you have registered. No, that is okay. Have you also registered under the Companies Act? They will ask. You should ask. Okay. So a charge is created on specific assets identified at the time of creation of charge. See, suppose in the exam, you are getting the question, maybe some simple question like that. They've asked fixed charge versus floating charge, etc. Or they might give you example of an asset. I'll show you. And then at that time, remember, when you're writing now, you write these two lines the way I have written. You see how I've written? I have used capital letters for certain important words and phrases. I'm not underlining. I'm using capital letters. Nothing wrong in using capital letters because you're catching the attention of the examiner. So the minute the examiner sees fixed charge is a charge on specific assets of the borrowing company, these assets are identified at the time of creation. Check. That's all. He will give you whatever mark due, he will give it to you. Whereas if you say blah, 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 but not coming to the point. Fixed charge is a charge created on certain fixed assets. Same word you're using again. No. Okay. So, when it is created, it remains fixed because the nature of the asset is not changing. More importantly, borrowing company is not permitted to sell such assets, though it may use them. See, I can continue to use the car, but it is hypothecated to bank. I can continue to use the entire Tirunelveli factory, but there is a mortgage in favor of State Bank of India. This the consortium of bankers headed by State Bank of India. So tomorrow, if anything happens later on, when you come to higher level of studies, when you come to final examination, you might, a self-paced module, you might study the insolvency and banking code, wherein you will find these financial creditors can petition, apply for the insolvency proceedings. Okay. So that is what, but in addition to that, security, they have to get it registered. Okay. To prove that they are secured creditors. We'll come to that point later. Assets under fixed charge can be sold only with the permission or consent of the charge holder. See, suppose you try to sell that property, the other buyer will be having some advocate, chartered accountant like me now. First thing we will do is, we will go to the sub-registrar office, get EC, to see whether any document mortgage is registered. Even if that is not there, in addition to that, I will go to ROC and see whether any charge has been registered on that property. Then when everything is clean, I will give the report to the buyer. Everything clean, you can buy this property. Okay. So usually a lawyer may also do this. We are definitely entitled to do this. Okay. A fixed charge is vacated when the money borrowed against asset subject to fixed charge is repaid in full. Go there, throw the money at his face, take the documents and come back. That's all. Floating charge. Now, the concept of floating charge, the word floating is used because the assets are of fluctuating or changing nature. It is not the same. They keep changing. Example, raw material, stock in trade, debtors. I told you now, CC loan, you check the liability side. There you will find working capital loan or cash credit facility from City Union Bank. Agreed. So immediately you ask him, what are the assets being charged? Said, what's stock and debtors there? That is a floating charge. Because, tell me one thing, can I create a charge on exact stock, which is there? How many times can I keep doing it? So the charge is on a class of assets, which keeps changing in the ordinary course of business of the company. But the value would be almost the same, which is why every 3 months or every month, they will want you to give a stock statement and a debtor statement, which has to be certified by the auditor or a chartered accountant. to ensure that the value is the same. I have given him 2.5 crores or 3 crores. Now, 3 crores is my loan, which means what? The stock should be at least more than that. So mine should be taken as at least 4/5. So 5/4. You should multiply by 5 and divide by 4 to get the thing. So to get the value. Okay. So this is the thing. So that floating charge should be created on assets which are of fluctuating or changing nature. Okay. Unlike a fixed charge, the assets offered as security by the company can be dealt with by the company in the ordinary course of business. Sir, I'll give a classic example, sir. You're going to say some white goods seller. So you're going to some place where they sell white goods, washing machine, television. In your city, you go there. You want to buy a washing machine. You go there, you see, or you want to buy a television, you want to buy a music system, whatever. You want to buy a fantastic new iPhone, whatever. You go to the shop and you go there and you see a lot of telephones are there. Mobile phones are there. Now that shop owner would not have would not have put his own money for the entire stock. He would have taken a cash credit facility or a whatever from his bank. Now at the time, giving that facility, the bank would have said, we want your entire stock in trade as security. Agreed. So that entire stock in trade that you're seeing in that shop or in that huge showroom are actually offered as security to a bank. Whichever bank, Canara Bank, whatever. Now, you are going to buy a mobile phone. Now, should you be worried about that? You buy your mobile phone, you get it free of charge. The buyer of the asset will get it free. Nobody, Canara Bank come and say, no, you cannot. The borrower has the right to deal with the asset in the ordinary course of business freely. And he can transfer it without any problem. Okay. But suppose suddenly you find some problem is there. You have a stock audit and you find that the stock auditor, like possibly me, is coming back and giving you a report saying, boss, the stocks are not there. He is saying that according to you, he should have 3.5 crores worth of stock. When I went there, I could not get more than 2.5 crores value. Means almost 1 crore minimum, little more, less than 1 crore missing. Meaning, that much stock is not there. So your money has not been used for buying the stock. Whatever he's doing that, I don't know what he's doing. The stock is not there. I give a report. Now you have to be very, very careful. Because if you don't curb it now, you are in deeper trouble. Luckily for you, luckily for the bank would not have given only on the stock in trade and debtors. Sometimes they will also take another asset as collateral security. Have you understood the point? The stock in trade and debtor is the primary security. Whereas they will also take the document of title of a property. For example, this Tirunelveli story, I will come back. Cement plant in Tirunelveli now. The entire factory, land, building, blah, 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 everything is given as a security for the terminal. Right? Now, somebody wanted, Mr. Navneet Maurya wanted pari passu charge. I am now going to explain what is pari passu charge. First, you will understand this. State Bank of India and a consortium have given 200 crores. Project is worth 300 crores or 250 crores. Owner has bought in 50 crores. So banks have given 200 crores. Property value, land value is going up. So as of now, valuation 300 crores. We are safe. 300 crore value property here. We have given you 200. You have put in 50. Factory started. Now you are buying raw material. You are selling to the dealers, debtors there. So now you come back to State Bank of India, or you don't like State Bank of India, you prefer private bank. So with the NOC, you go to HDFC Bank and you tell them, or ICAI Bank, boss, we want a CC, cash credit. How much you want? Another 25 crores we want. You calculate 25 crore we want. Okay, 25 crore, no problem, I'll give you against a stock in trade. Complete stock in trade, including finished good stock in your godown. Plus the debtors, dealers, dues and all that, every year, 25 crores. So, minimum show me 30 crore stock in trade, stock and debtor, 30, 35 crore, stock and debtor should be there, boss. Every month I want to see. But, okay, thank you, bye. No, wait. This is not enough. In addition to that, आपका property है ना, that is term loan. No, they have given only 200. Okay, property worth 300. You are taking 25 crore only now. You give me also that property also as a security. How to do? Now, Mr. Navinith, you have to listen. State Bank of India and the consortium having first charge. State Bank of India and the consortium having first charge. Okay. Now, this new guy na, HDFC Bank is coming na. Now, first level, State Bank will say, no, I will keep first charge. Let him take second charge. What does that mean? First charge, second charge. When if at all this cement factory is running at loss, finally gone for insolvency or winding up or whatever. At that time, that entire factory will be sold now. Now, both State Bank Consortium of State Bank of India and 5 bankers are vowed to something like, say, 225 crore at that time. Our man, HDFC Bank also is vowed something like 27 crores, 28 crores at that point in time. Now the property was worth 300 crore, we thought. But only when we go and file to we sell, we finally find that property can, in a distress sale, in a insolvency proceeding, what to do? Yeah, it will realize only 200 crore, Baba. So I am due 250, you are due 50, let us say, together 300 crores. I'm having first charge, HDFC second charge. That means what? The property will be sold, 200 crore we will get, State Bank of India will get it because first charge. If anything is left over, second charge. Otherwise, second charge will not pay. Okay. Now, so HDFC Bank will very clearly say, the legal department will say, sorry, we cannot take second charge. I want pari passu charge. So we go back to again, see, all this job is your job, Baba. As if you're going to become the financial controller or finance manager of a company, this is what you have to do. You go to State Bank of India again, go to the DGM, go to the director, go to somebody there, go to the GM, and like that. Finally, he will say, okay, what do you want? Pari passu, right? Charge given, pari passu. So they will give NOC. So you come back and you will tell him my pari passu charge allowed. So when you register the charge, you will clearly mention that it is a pari passu charge. What does that mean? Pari passu means in equal footing, proportionately. If you take one step, I will take proportionately. Be careful, not equally. In equal proportion, not equally. Which means what? I am owed 50 crore. You are owed 250 crore. 2.5:5. Realizing only 100. Realizing only 100. Then, or maybe 120. Then what does that mean? 2.5:5 na. So 120 divided by 3 into 2.5 into 0.5. So proportionately you will get. Whereas in first charge, second charge, only after the first charge holder is paid, you will get the second charge. That's why sometimes debentures are also issued as first mortgage debentures. That means what? The asset which is charged will be sold and the entire loan has to be repaid. After that, only other people will get. If any are there, if any other charge holders, second charge holders. But if it is a pari passu charge, all the charge holders, the pari passu charge holders will get proportionately. So 100 in 120 divided by 3 into 0.5. Are you able to understand? Okay. So you will get that, at least you will get that. You got it? At least you will get that. That flow will get 120 divided by 3 into 2.5. Like that. Okay. I hope Mr. Navneet Maurya has understood pari passu charge. See, a lot of you are asking questions. Hold tight. I will finish floating and fixed charge, and then I will take the questions, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay. So coming back to our floating charge, why I gave this example floating charge here? Because, see, here is an example where SBI is having a fixed charge on the immovable property. HDFC is giving a loan against the stock-in debtor, which is floating charge, which is the primary security. In addition to that, they are also having a collateral security, which is the pari passu charge in the factory, land and building and everything. So I hope these technical terms are somewhat clearer to you. Of course, you can listen to me. You can also keep a small notebook with you, something like this. I always have a notebook. Whenever I attend a workshop, whenever I attend a lecture by Swamiji or whatever, I always have a notebook. Because sometimes Swamiji will tell something which is not in the book. I will write it in my notebook because that idea won't come again from him. So I will write it down immediately. So this is the attitude of a student. Like I always do that. Whenever, not only Swamiji, even sometimes I attend lectures on astrology by my guru, where when he's telling something, suddenly he will tell, when the fifth place Lord is sitting here, it is immediately I make a note because that's not in the book. He might have read from Jaimini or Parasara and he's noted it and he's giving it to me. I can't go and do the research again. I make a note of it. This just a suggestion again, not a you have to do it. But if you do it, it will be good. So now comes the problem. Sir, floating charge, assets are moving. I agree, sir. But when will I get what will I get finally? So you know that you got a stock audit report saying you are given 2.5, but only 3.5, only 2 crore stock is there. So something going wrong. So you immediately go here. You call for the winding up of the company. Or you say, I want repayment of my loan. The minute the creditor enforces the security, you give my money back. That's all. Or the company goes into liquidation. That's also possible. Liquidation. Then the floating charge will become a fixed charge on all the assets available on that date, which may come into existence thereafter. So suppose PO was placed, goods have come. Sorry, it belongs to this company only. If that creditor who has raised the invoice, he will become an operational creditor. He also has to stand in the queue. Unsecured operational creditor. Whereas you are a secured floating charge creditor. So the HDFC will get it. Though it has not paid for, they will get it. These are all legal tangles. These are all huge legal tangles, whether that asset is there or not like that. But by and large, if the GRN is cut and the invoice is raised, ownership is transferred. For that, you have to go back to your accounting standard 9, recognition of revenue, okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, that is why law is a both interesting subject and also you need depth. You can't be casual in law, but once you go that depth, superb subject where you can really make a difference. So when the charge holder or creditor enforces the security, or the company goes into liquidation, there is a crystallization of the floating charge, meaning it will become a fixed charge. From that day, fixed. What all assets are there belong to you. Come, sell it, take money, go. So whatever you get is what you get. Okay. Sometimes in my regular classes, in those days, in classroom mode, I used to give the example of a fast, free-flowing river, wherein fish are moving. Continuously, fish are moving. Okay. Now, this is mostly there in Kerala. Recently, yesterday I was in Thrissur in a farm stay. Beautifully, there was behind the house, that farm stay, there is a beautiful pura where fish will be going and all. So, okay, you want to make fish curry tonight. What do? You go to the pura. How will you catch the fish? Either you put a net or better still, you take the dhoti and put it on the water here. One person holds on this side, another person on that side. We sink the cloth dhoti into the water. So that cloth is floating now. Floating, waiting. The fish is moving. Except fluctuating, changing, dealt with in the ordinary course of business. Now, I want to get my money. Immediately I raise the dhoti. That is called crystallization of floating charge. That time what is there only I get. Okay? At that time what is there only I get. So this is more of a examples, I can say a metaphor given to help you to understand the concept. So floating charge versus fixed charge. Sometimes they're asking you question in the examination like this. Adhar Limited and Mittal Limited both took loans from different banks and provided security against them. Adhar Limited mortgaged its factory building. I gave an example, machinery, blah, blah, everything. While Mittal Limited pledged its stock in trade, raw materials and accounts receivable. Same, I gave you. In my example, I gave you an example where one company is taking both. Not only that, two banks are lending. with pari passu charge. I gave you a more complicated and a broader real life example. Whereas this is an example where they want to be clear. Adhar Mittal, Adhar alag hai, Mittal alag hai. Adhar has mortgage factory building, Mittal stock in trade. Specify the type of charges created in both cases. Friends, it's a very simple question. Now that you know the answer. So you have to write what you have to write. Adhar Limited has created fixed charge. Mittal Limited, floating charge. That is when these two slides are enough. You don't have to remember pages and pages of information. These small notes are enough for you. But remember this correctly. If you can use your own words very well, good. Otherwise, rely on what I've given you here. Okay? And use that word. You will not go wrong. So you have to write these two, or at least condensed version of these two. Do not write fish and all that, because that is an example given in class to help you to understand. What is floating? The charge is floating. Dhoti is floating. Fish is not floating. Fish is the asset. It is moving. Are you able to understand? Charge is the dhoti in the water, the net in the water. That is floating in the water. And the fish is fluctuating, moving. Suddenly, crystallization. I enforce the debt or petition for winding up. Whatever remaining at that time only is the fixed charge. It's called crystallization of a floating charge. Also analyze what would happen if both companies fail to repay their loans. I told you now, both entire, this question ka answer, yeah, this is the answer. If you're anything more also, you cannot write. Anything less also, you cannot write. Okay. Now I will go through your questions. I hope I'm not going fast. I hope you are able to understand what I'm saying. So now let us see. Little time is needed. Evening security will be forfeited. Information. Okay, good. Thank you. Against property. Okay. The problem is sometimes I miss it. The person is allowed to received by the person, then what happened? Sir, the bank is not a fool. At one point in time, when they see that it's coming to the near, they will inform him and say, sorry, Baba, you have eaten your entire property. So around the time when it reaches 90%, they will sell, or they will ask him to repay. Okay. So anyway, don't see, the beauty of it is, Mr. Maurya, you are leaving the important part of the exam point of view. You are getting into an area which is not important from exam point of view. It's okay. See, out of interest, I can always keep on answering your questions, but you are wasting your time. Okay? Don't worry. I can give you as a matter of information. Gemini, absolutely, sir. I am not saying Gemini is God. I'm saying, earlier there was no, I tell you, if I wanted some information in those days, you're not going to, I have a library of 20,000 books. In fact, if I wanted to look up a particular word, I used to refer to 3 dictionaries. In those days, I used to refer to Cambridge, I used to refer to Oxford and Webster, 3 dictionaries to know the meaning of a word. In those days, I'm talking about 30, 25 years ago. That is how I built my vocabulary. So whenever I read a book, I will mark the important words. Then I look it up in the dictionary. That is how I improved my vocabulary. Today, how easy it is. That is all I'm saying. Information is at your fingertips. I am not saying reality. Definitely, sir. I'm living in reality. I'm not living in virtual reality. I'm living in proper reality. Knowledge it can be. That's all. Okay. So that bigger argument about AI, I'm not even getting into it. AI is a tool, yeah. It's like a tool, a tool. This tool cannot be better than a tool. A tool hai. And technically a tool hai na. AI is also a tool for me. I am not going to make AI govern my life. I will beat AI and make it work for me. Okay. So, okay, this is to answer your general question, Mr. Anil. In case of fixed charge, like for example, taken on PPE, in case of PPE got completely damaged due to the measurement. These are all technical questions. See, you are the lender. Let us say that you are State Bank of India. What you will do first when you are lending money on immovable property like plant, machinery, etc. What is the first thing you will do? You will ensure that it is adequately covered with insurance. Am I correct or not? These are all basic commercial sense, yeah. Commercial common sense. You get the asset registered. If you have lent money, see, owner is there, lender is there, asset is there. Everybody is concerned about the asset. Asset is destroyed. Insurer has to pay the insurance policy. Whatever insurance policy is paid will go first to you, the lender. If still balance is there, owner has to pay. What to do? This will be clearly mentioned in the loan agreement. Don't worry. And the insurance will be taken on the value of the asset. That is why you have to protect. Okay. This is a good question. Whenever I use the word charge holder, I mean the creditor, the person who is giving the loan. Make a note. Whenever I use the word charge holder, I'm using and in this case, I will never say charge giver. I will say company. Because in all cases, it's the company which is creating the charge. So we will be using two words, charge holder. In this case, Adhar and Limited and Mittal Limited are the companies. The banks which have given the loan are charge holder. So whenever we say charge holder, we mean this is for the removal of doubt of everybody because Mr. Maurya got it. I'm sure many of you are having a doubt. I've clarified. Yes, form numbers are important from exam point of view because sometimes they ask you, and in case they bring back multiple choice, surely they will ask you. Okay, so form numbers are important. Yeah, sort of I defined floating charge, I defined charges, floating the fixed charge. Don't worry. Okay. Collateral is secondary. The word itself, I keep repeating it. Collateral. Primary hai collateral. So secondary. Primary next secondary. Yes. Adhar Limited fixed and okay. Good show. Mittal Limited floating. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm so happy. Wonderful. Okay. Adil Khan, good evening. Ashley, should we 3P back? You 1 second, yeah. I think that's it. All questions are in case I have missed any questions, next time when I come, I will see and I will answer, right? So beautiful. Let me see if anybody has come on because I'm supposed to answer all the queries and I will see to it that I answer. Once again, I have to. Any questions on the query part also I have to answer. There are same question Malisetti Varsha has asked here. Yes, madam, form numbers are simple. Each chapter there are about 6 or 7 forms. Ajbi we will be seeing some forms. Don't worry. Write it down. Likhna chahiye. See, you write it down, make it into a thing. 2 or 3 times you practice, you'll remember. And one more thing, the form numbers are always the first 3 alphabets will be the abbreviation of the chapter heading. Okay. So here you will find CHG will be used. Correct. Adhar Limited fixed charge. Nandini Shukla, finally you are in. Welcome. Okay, good show. So see, floating charge will always be floating. So long as the amount is due, floating charge will be floating like the fish. Okay. But when the credit, can you read this? Can you read this part? Are you able to see this? This is the answer to your question. When the creditor enforces security. Enforces security means what? I am the bank boss. I'm coming to you and I'm sending a letter to you saying, repay the loan. That's not enforcing it. When I say repay the loan, when I enforce that pay, you can, after that, no more selling. Whatever is there, I will not only send you a letter, Of course, it's not as easy as I'm saying. They have to go to court. Oh, it's not so easy. They will send one letter, then this man will go to DRT, then they will go to High Court. Oh, all sorts of fighting will happen. But once I've enforced it, I will get an injunction from the court saying, stop, everything stop, like that, all that. So that will be huge fun for a lot of advocates. But the point is, once the creditor enforces the security, on that day, whatever is the asset available, on that, there will be a fixed charge. Meaning, if that asset is X, that cannot be sold because that now belongs to the bank. Okay. So the floating charge will become a fixed charge. Right. Similarly, one last question was there. Charge holder, Kushbu Kumari. See, in this topic, there are two people, A, the company which is offering the security, the company which is offering the asset as a security, that is company. The lender, the creditor, the person who is giving the loan, that person is called charge holder. Why he is called charge holder? Because he is holding the charge. He is having the charge. He is holding it. So he is called charge holder. Okay. Because see, charge is created in his favor. Charge is created for him. Unke liye the charge is created. Therefore, he is called charge holder. I am the company and borrowing money. And the borrower, he is the lender. So he is saying create a charge. In creating, he is a charge holder. I cannot explain this better than this. I hope Kushbuji has understood the things. Okay, now we come to duty to register charge. Very, very important section. Section 77. Okay, very, very important. This is the mandatory parts. Clearly, the law says, okay, every company creating a charge shall register the same with the registrar of companies. Shall. So, shall means mandatory. No argument. Every company, no exception. Private, public, small, whatever. Asset being charged may be situated in India or outside India. So even, see, company, Indian company, but it may have an asset outside India, no? Why not? So when a charge is created on an asset outside India by an Indian company, when a charge is created outside India by a company incorporated in India, that charge has to be registered under the Companies Act. Later on, not in your current syllabus, when you come to final foreign companies, then in companies incorporated out there, a company incorporated outside India may come to India and do business now. At that time, they might have property in India. Those properties, if they're creating charge, that has to be registered in India. Are you able to see that? There should be some connection. Foreign property owned by Indian company. Indian property owned by foreign company. Both cases, charge has to be registered. But that's a different provision, not here. Foreign company registering in India provision, not here. That is in a different chapter. For information, I'm telling you. Okay. So here only company incorporated in India having property in India or outside India. Wherever it is, it has to be registered. Got it? First step. It may be movable or immovable. Movable, we already saw. Immovable property, movable property. It may be tangible or otherwise. Tangible means what? You can touch, feel it, taste it. Otherwise means intangible. That means even on intellectual property, right? You can create a mortgage. You can create a charge. Nothing. Because it has been done also. For example, if I remember right, at that time, it was, at that time is 1990s, not later. 1990s when Kingfisher was so beautiful, fantastic brand. They had one of the best beer brands. Kingfisher beer, and they had their own. In those days itself, Malyaji had his own cricket team. He was sponsoring, almost he was owning that team. Yeah. And he actually created a charge on the Kingfisher brand. State Bank of India lent money. Of course, subsequent story, man. I'm talking about the peak of Kingfisher when they were awesome. Even then the value. See, think about it. Diageo comes and buys it. So it is a valuable brand. The intellectual property. See, even today, whether Malia is owning it or not, Kingfisher is drunk by people all over the country, world. Yeah, Kingfisher is a preferred brand of beer. So that brand value is there. So if that brand has a value, and if a bank is willing to lend, in which case what they will do, you should ask that question. Sir, how to register a brand, sir? That's a practical question. Correct. See, Kingfisher is a brand which is solidly registered all over the world now. So the registrar of brand trademarks, there Kingfisher will give a letter saying we are using this brand subject to the NOC from State Bank of India. In case they say they object, we will not be able to use the brand. So State Bank will register it. And later on, if this fellow does any nonsense, then they will immediately, they'll get an injunction from the court saying you cannot use that brand till you pay us. Like, that's all. See, you have to practically think how to do it. Common sense. You have to use your common sense, commercial sense. Okay? It is easy to talk, but you should be having, because tomorrow you're going to advise MDs, you're going to advise large corporates, you're going to advise audit committees and boards. So you should be able to give common sense also in your approach. What is the consequence of non-registration? In case the charge is not registered, what happens? Very, very important. We will see this later. This question will be answered in another slide. Right now, we are going to see the form. Okay. So somebody was asking about form, I think, Varsha or somebody. Okay. Please, madam, note these two forms. आपके लिए कागज है और कलम है, please note कर दीजिए. Just make a note. Form number CHG1, charge registration of form for charges other than debentures. CHG9 for debentures. 2-3 times we keep on doing it, will go into the brain. Don't worry about it. Okay. So that is the only way to remember. Repeat it, See, think about it. You keep on standing see, there is a huge lake, beautiful lake, sparkling water. Okay, a little cold, morning 4 a.m. or Narmada River, beautifully running, sparkling water flowing, nice 4 feet depth is there, flowing water. You can bathe beautifully, cold. 4 a.m. in the morning. I've taken bath in the Narmada at 4 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so but initially you'll feel cold. What you do? Close your nose, dip 3 times. You'll be ready. Thereafter, no. See, most of the time, any task we are waiting in the bank, not jumping into the water. Is it important, sir? Should I study, sir? How to study, sir? How to remember, sir? Jump. Start. You will go. It's my humble suggestion. We give on how to do, sir. How to remember, sir. What to do, sir. Jump. Start remembering 3 forms. Then remember 5 forms. Then remember 7 forms. Then remember 9 forms. That's it. You are in business. So remember CHG1. The particulars of the charge to be registered shall be filed in form number CHG1. So CHG1 is the primary form, main form. That is the maximum used form for other than debentures. So whenever you create a charge on immovable property, movable property, whatever, it will be other than. In case you are creating a debentures, secured debentures, then for that alone, there is a separate form because some particulars are different for debentures. So instead of having same form and saying, if it is not debentures, don't fill these columns and all, they've got a separate form for debentures. Obviously, for debentures, they will want further particulars like debenture trustee, terms of issue of the debenture. Are you able to understand? So that will be separate. Form number CHG9. Think about the company secretary, poor fellows. They should remember the content of the form also. In final exam. I have done it. We have to reproduce the form in the exam. Not joking. Unfortunately, I am also a company secretary, member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Got all India rank in that exam also, for 4th and 10th rank, inter and final. Why I am telling, there we have to actually not only remember the form number, write the content of the form also, including charge. Form 8 at that time. Okay, now it is CHG1. Form number CHG1 for other than debentures. Form number CHG9 for debentures. Also, a copy of the instrument, if any, creating the charge. In some cases, there may not be an instrument. In which case, this form itself, you'll have to mention what is the nature of the charge. Okay. Usually, for example, I'll give some examples. In the case of vehicles, there will be a hypothecation agreement wherein you will sign, company will sign, lender will sign. In the case of immovable property, mortgage will be there. Am I correct or not? If in case you are not creating a English mortgage, meaning you are not giving the property, you are not registering limited title in the immovable property, you are only creating equitable mortgage. That means you are giving the title deeds only. You are only depositing the title deeds. In which case there will be a document called Memorandum of Deposit of Deeds, MODD. Memorandum of Deposit of Deed, MODD. That MODD registration, that you have to file. That is called the copy of the instrument, if any, creating charge. Like that, there are many documents creating the charge. If no such document, say, this is there's no such document. Okay. So, for example, charge created on CC and all, on mobiles, there will be no instrument because you won't go and register it anywhere. So in which case, you should give the loan agreement with the bank, wherein you will mention the terms and conditions of the wherein you will say stock is offered as a security. That is the instrument creating the charge. Okay. So the instrument creating charge shall be verified by under the seal of the company. Okay. By any director or company secretary on behalf of the company and by authorized officer of charge holder. Charge holder, I've already explained. Charge holder means lender. So bank. So officer of the bank or lender will come. In case of charge relating solely to foreign property, there's only for any person other than the company interested in the charge may verify. Meaning, foreign property, there may not be anybody to sign here. People to understand. Sir, I have borrowed from a foreign bank. Okay. I have given a security of my Brussels property. I borrowed from a European bank. Now that fellow has created all the documents registered in Brussels and his copy has come to me, but that is not signed. So now who will sign the form and the instrument verifying? That will be verified by somebody other than the company. You can yourself, that they will authorize some lawyer or somebody to sign on there. In case nobody is there, officer of the charge holder is not here in India, somebody who is other than the company interested in the charge, they can verify on this. It's a concession given for foreign property only, not for Indian property. Now, this is where you create a fresh charge. You own an asset, you offer it as a security, charge is created, the particulars of the charge together with the instrument have to be filed with the registrar. Okay, another possibility. I am acquiring the property. I am acquiring a property. Already that property, there is a loan given by Indian bank. Okay. Now I am acquiring a factory, land and building, 40 crore. I have already given 10 crore. Now I need another 30 crore. State Bank of India is giving me 30 crore. No problem. Already earlier, Indian Bank has given 35 crores. Property value 50 crore. I'm getting bargain 40 crore. I paid 10 crore. Now State Bank of India willing to give me 30 crore because they are my regular bankers. Indian Bank has already given 35 crore. You got it? Out of my 10 crore, I gave 5 crore to Indian Bank. Balance 30 crore, State Bank of India will give. Then that charge will get vacated. The earlier Indian Bank charge. But remember, that charge satisfaction should be noted. When we come to satisfaction, we'll again talk about this. So that vacation of that charge should be noted. Then State Bank of India given 30 crore, they will register MODD on that property. That new charge should be registered by the acquiring company. So there will be first registration of the property in your favor. State Bank of India will give 30 crore. You will give 5 crore to Indian Bank. He will give 30 crore. Indian Bank happy going away. Owner will get another 5 crore. Whatever they want to do, they'll do with it. Now they will sign all the documents and go. That property will now come to you. First, you have to ensure that that MODD is vacated with the sub-registrar. Then you should go ask your company secretary to go to the ROC. All the documents are signed by Indian Bank now. Based on that, you have to get the charge vacated, satisfied. Now the property is coming clean. Now you have to register your new charge in the same form in favor of State Bank of India. I use the word in favor of. So a charge is created in favor of the charge holder. Now you understand. In favor of the lender. Now clear, na? Charge holder is lender. In favor of the lender. Same, the charge is registered in favor of the charge holder. Okay. This is for acquiring a property subject to charge. Another possibility. You already have taken a loan against a property, immovable property. Now, either rate of interest is changing or you borrowed 10 crores. Now you are borrowing another 10 crores. So there's a change in the terms and conditions. So any variation in the terms and conditions should be registered. That is called modification. So modification should be registered in the same way as a normal charge. When there is a change in terms and conditions. So change in terms and conditions could be variation by way of change in rate of interest or variation in extent or operation of any charge. Okay. See, I don't know if you are aware, there is something called floating and floating interest and fixed interest loans. In fixed interest only, we have to worry about change in the rate of interest. Suppose originally the loan was given for 8.5%. 2 years later, the bank is revising the interest, maybe less or more. It's a variation. But suppose the bank has given a floating rate, which will be pegged with, say, MIBOR or LIBOR. So LIBOR plus 3 or whatever, LIBOR plus 100, LIBOR plus 200 basis points, whatever. So there, when there's a change in the interest, general interest rate, you need not every time go and file it with the. So every quarter they will keep readjusting the loan interest. But fixed interest, if there is a change, it's a change in the terms and condition. Such modification has to be registered in the same manner as charge. So registration to apply as far as may be to the following situations. As if it is a charge, we have registered it. The modification also is mentioned. We have to be very careful. When you are filling up Form CHG1 now, they will give you one column for fresh charge. Then they will give you another column for modification. So the fresh charge part, you should leave it. Don't fill. Only for the modification part, you have to write. Once I did very, very stupid mistake. You know what I did? Actually, I was a rookie at that time. So Form 8, I filed for charge. Luckily, that was not registered by the registrar. In those days, no uploading. So I filed it and it came to the additional registrar who kept it and he called me. Srikanth, come here. Yes, you are a chartered accountant. Are you not ashamed of yourself? What, sir? Form 8, you have filed like this. What, sir, I have done? Your company borrowed how much? They borrowed 10 lakhs. And those days, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Now, how much loan they have taken? 5 lakhs. What you have put? You have put 5 lakhs. You have put fresh. You have put that 5 lakhs. You have put in the fresh charge. You have put 15 lakhs the fresh charge. Sorry, in the modification part, you have put 15 lakhs. Are you a fool or what? No, what I have done, what I will think, original was 10, now another 15. No, only 5. So what you should do, forget the first column. Only the second column you fill, wherein you fill only 5 lakhs. We already know that the 10 lakhs is there. Now we will add another 5 lakhs. Cumulatively, it will be recorded as 10 lakhs. So he gave me a lecture. See, I wasn't a company secretary at that time. I was only a chartered accountant, practicing. Then I became company secretary. So he was also taking pleasure in, you are a chartered accountant, practice. You don't know all this. Sir, sorry, sir, I didn't know, sir. Now I know, sir, like that I told. That's all. Be a student. And even just because I become chartered accountant doesn't mean I'm God, yeah. I may also not know. The minute you think you are God, you know everything, only you are in trouble. Nobody is God. Only God is omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. I'm an ordinary creature. Right? What I know. What I don't know, I learn. This is my philosophy, sir. Please don't mistake me. If I'm wrong, I accept I'm wrong. I don't argue and waste people's time. If I'm right, I prove my point with facts. So I don't simply talk. I give proof, factual proof or legal proof. I show the section and I win the case. See, I go on appeal. Income tax officer is saying I'm wrong. I'm saying I'm right. Only way to prove it is go to the CET appeals. Which argument is going to work? So how I present my argument, how I show, how I give proof, that is I win. That's all. Instead of wasting time, telling something. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Straight away advise the client, sir, we don't have a chance. Don't go on appeal. Pay the tax and go. I told you at that time itself, it won't stand. No, go on appeal. Okay, you are the boss. I'll go. Keep on going till High Court. But today, believe me, on a totally off-track point as a practicing CA, I have discovered that those people who go on appeal are intelligent, yeah. Because whether strong case or weak case, this fellow goes and stands, CAT appeals may or tribunal may or High Court may. And then what happens? The VSVS will come. He will not pay interest. First time it was bonanza, no interest, no penalty, only tax. That too 50% all they paid. Bonanza. Now also. So, I don't know. I'm just giving the broader point I'm making, nothing to do with this topic. Just I'm saying. So nowadays I've changed my tack. I advise the client, your case is weak. Still, I don't want to prejudice you. I will go on appeal and keep you, like Trishanko, I'll put you there. And I'll keep on kicking you up. And keep on paying 10%, 20%. Let us see where we go. In somewhere in this track, you might get a benefit. Once again, I'm just thinking. Just give me 1 minute and plugging in my battery. Sorry. What are the various examples of mortgage or modification of charge? Terms and conditions of the existing. Any terms and conditions. Modification is in pursuance of agreement for enhancing. Right? Main example, not 10 lakh, they borrowed another 5 lakhs, enhancing. Or 25 lakhs. They have repaid 10 lakhs. That is also modification. Decreasing. Where the modification is ceding a pari passu charge. Now, thanks to Mr. Navneet Maurya, you are all aware of what is a pari passu charge. Are you able to understand? See, State Bank of India, first charge holder. Then he ceded. Ceding means giving up. Giving up. I'm ceding, giving up. So, State Bank of India is ceding a pari passu charge. Are you able to understand? So, now think like this. I'm borrowing from HDFC Bank. Right, sir? 25 crore. Already existing charge in favor of State Bank and Consortium. If you remember my example, you have to continue. So, in that example, they gave 200 crores, they've given. Now, out of that 200 crore, nothing has happened. All the other terms and conditions are the same. But once they get the NOC for creating pari passu charge, they have ceded the pari passu charge. So their first charge holder right is gone now. So for State Bank of India, there is a modification. So I have to register original charge for HDFC and modification for State Bank of India. I hope you have understood this point. And that is why, I explained pari passu before I came here. Because suddenly if I introduce pari passu, I have to explain. So I thank Mr. Navneet Maurya for asking that question. And also, I hope you have understood. So earlier, if the asset is sold, the entire amount I will get first. Only anything left over, he will get. Now what I am telling, you also take pari passu. Thereby, I am losing my first mortgage, first charge. Therefore, it is a modification for me also. For State Bank of India also, it is a modification. For HDFC, it's the original charge. Pari passu charge on, there are two charges now. One is original charge on the stock and first charge on the stock and debtors. Another charge, a pari passu charge on the factory land and buildings. For State Bank of India, the existing charge has been modified. What is the nature of the modification? Amount, etc., no change. Only there is a change in the my right. So I am the charge holder has ceded the pari passu charge in favor of HDFC Bank. For that, you have to give the NOC and whatever else. So where there is a change in the rate of interest, other than the bank rate for fluctuating, when it's a floating rate of interest, don't bother. Only if it's a fixed rate, there's a change in the rate. Where there's a change in repayment schedule of loan. See, earlier I took the loan for 7 years. Now I feel I can repay earlier. Reduced it. Or I took it for 5. Now I go to 7 years. Rescheduling. Modification. Where there is partial release of the charge on a particular asset. See, let us say that I had these are all examples that my clients have had. Yeah, nothing I'm telling from imagination. I'm not artificial intelligence. I'm natural intelligence, sharing my own experience with you. See, 50-acre property, my client gave the entire 50-acre. They took money. They started developing the property. Thereafter, they developed only 20-acre, balance 30-acre idle sitting. This loan, definitely what they have given is far less than the entire 50-acre. So they went to the bank and said, Baba, at that time, I wanted to borrow from you. I took so much, but that is nothing. Now, see, 50-acre hai. You have given me, I have built on 20-acre and I'm repaying the loan, EMI and all, I'm paying. So you take 25-acre. The balance 25-acre, you release it. Why? Why you want? No, I will go to some other bank and get another loan. Like that. Or you give me another loan. You release this 25 from this loan and take it for that loan. Whatever it is. For this loan, there is a release. Are you able to understand? Friends, one property, one loan, charge has to be registered. One property, 2 loans, 2 charges have to be registered. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? One property, 2 loans, 2 charges have to be registered. Okay. So, on that road. Usually, immovable property, when you're talking about land, there will be survey numbers. So, on the same survey number, you cannot borrow. So, there will be different survey numbers. So, clearly, you have to identify. Okay. You might be thinking now, how much a chartered accountant should know? It's not enough if you just read the book. Okay. Do you agree? This one topic will make you understand how many financial terms are there, how many complicated transactions are there that your clients or your employer or somebody can get into. And you have to be aware of the subject. Okay. This is not like a university exam where you mug up vomit and there's a set number of questions, out of which only it will come question bank. No. The real syllabus is big and the world out there is my book. I have to learn and there's no syllabus. I cannot go and tell my client, sir, that was not in my syllabus. That was self-paced module, sir. That's why I can't read it properly. No. At that time, I have to advise him on everything. Rest I can say, I'm giving an example again from medicine just to help you understand, not to bore you or waste your time. See, let's say that I'm a cardiologist with diabetologist. Basically cardio. That means I have a limit, yeah. I can see him. Mainly, I see cardio functioning and I can see his diabetes. I give medicine control. I can take care of him continuously. Suddenly, he's developing some problem, which means that something wrong with the kidney. I will know there is something wrong with the kidney. Creatinine is going up. Now, I will not presume to treat him because I don't have expertise in kidney. Therefore, at that time, I will tell him, boss, it looks like you have a small, serious issue with the kidney. Now, I'm giving you medicines. Now, that could also be having. So, my suggestion, I will control your medicine a little bit and bring the creatinine down to high level. Still, you go to a nephrologist and get a better diagnosis. I refer you to Mr. A, Dr. A, MD, who is doing. So, this is there. Today, there are so many areas which are specialized areas. I cannot presume to know that. But minimum, I should know what is the issue there. Minimum, I should be able to control it and give some immediate advice. But one point we can always say, hey, it's a transfer pricing matter. I can't handle it. My partner is specializing in transfer pricing. She will handle it. That's all. Okay, that is possible. Okay, so let me see what are the questions. Yeah, Royal Challengers. He was owning it, correct? Well, yeah. I don't see any major questions here. More of okay. I think I shall presume in my favor that you have understood the topic up to now, and good show. No problem. It's a very interesting topic. No, there are no further questions uh, on the query pad. Nothing in chat. Nothing as of now. All questions, all queries answered. Okay. Now we move to so actually what I'll be doing around 8 o'clock. I will be around yeah, okay. What we'll do now, the time is exactly 7:30. Uh, Permit me to have a small break. Hmm? Maybe 5 minutes or maximum 10 minutes. And yeah, 10 minutes. So that is, then we will take it up and go to say 8:15, 8:10, like that, 8:50. Then I will give you some multiple choice questions to test how you have absorbed the topic, how you have absorbed the topic. Okay. Now, one more form is there. You can try to. This is the certain registration. While you're looking at it, I will take a small break. Okay. Sir, small break, sir. Yeah, I will do that. Thank you, sir. Welcome back from your well-deserved tea break, though I've not had my tea yet. I'm just keeping the green tea in front of me and talking to you. See, the point here is just like when you incorporate a company, you file certain forms, etc., the registrar goes through it and then he registers. See, luckily for me, that additional registrar, no, he called me and he told all the mistakes I have made. Then he returned the papers to me. Said, luckily for you, the due date is still not over. You have another 15 days. Go, revise it and bring it. Then he saw what I did. See, remember, I was just starting practice. I qualified when I was 21 years old. Then joined Pricewaterhouse, working for 3 years. 23, 24, maximum 23 and a half, 24. I started practice. Nobody to guide much. So, what all I did, made mistake and learned, honestly speaking. Okay. And so, in the meantime, at 22, I started teaching. I started teaching company law in the Institute of Company Secretaries. First time. Then I slowly started teaching in our institute, in SIRC. My career of teaching began 1992. Then around nearing 99, 2000, I started in our institute. For that first decade, I was a faculty for the company secretaries whom I taught company law. Okay, at that time, the 1956 law. So, but then in spite of that, I made all mistakes. Okay, so what I'm saying is, just like in the incorporation of company, he sees all the documents. When everything is pakka, he will register. So sometimes they may return in those days, they return the document for correction, and we'll have to execute the correction and take it back. And all that in those days. Today it's all very easy, uploading, and even though they ask some questions and we upload again, and it happens. So where a charge or modification is duly registered by the registrar, a certificate of registration or modification, as the case may be. Because if it is a registration, it's original. Subsequently, modification will be issued by the registrar. So for this particular format has been prescribed. Okay, which is form CHG2. See, CHG sort of abbreviation of charges. 2. So 1 form for registration of a charge. 4 form for registration of debentures. 9 debentures. Okay. 2 certificate of registration. Both debentures and normal. 3 CHG3 modification. So whenever you register modification. So I've given you the corresponding sections and rules. Now, you can ask me a question. Should I remember all these 77, 2, blah, blah, blah? No need all that. At least remember 77. 77 is the basic section for registration of a charge. So section 77 you have to remember. 79 is for modification of charge. So 79 you have to remember. That much you have to remember. Okay. Okay. If you don't remember what will happen, nothing will happen. See, let us say that the question they are asking is, what is the procedure for once a charge is registered, the registrar will issue the certificate. What is the significance of the certificate of registration? And what are the form numbers? They may ask you. In which case you give all that. You may not write 77, 79, but you will write the answer correctly. The effect of a registration of charge is, once the certificate is issued by the registrar under 6.1 or 6.2, then that certificate shall be conclusive evidence. I hope you're connected with incorporation. Just like the certificate of incorporation is a conclusive evidence that the requirements of that chapter 2 have been met. Similarly here, chapter 6 and the rules as to registration or creation or modification of charge, as the case may be, have been complied with. So you write this. What is the significance of the certificate of registration? You write this one paragraph. And for the certificate will be issued in form number CHG2 for registration and CHG3 for modification. The certificate issued by the registrar under form. No problem. You did not write 77 or 79. What will happen? Suppose the question carries 3 marks. He is willing to give you 2.5. In a theory paper, up to 2.5 you can get in that. Out of 10 marks, you can get up to 8. If you're really great, 9. 10 out of 10 in theory, very difficult. extreme. Your handwriting should be extremely good. Your English should be above average, etc., etc., etc. So, I mean, definitely if your answer is 8 is sure. If your answer is correct, 8 is sure. So, but what happens if you quote section number, that 7 will become 8. That 8 will become 8.5. Are you able to understand? So those who quote section number get an edge over those who don't. Doesn't mean that if I don't quote section number, the answer will be marked wrong. So, but see, it's a subjective evaluation. My dear friends, please remember, evaluating a theory paper, not MCQ. MCQ question will do it. But if a human being is going to evaluate an answer in a theory paper like law, definitely certain subjectivity will be there. That means what? Good handwriting will influence. Reasonably good English will influence. Quoting section number will influence. Quoting form number will influence. So what they will do is on 3 they'll give you 1 mentally. Then they keep on adding another half. Till it reaches 2.5, they'll stop. This is I'm giving you the mindset of an examiner down the edges. Okay, this is how it is. How much ever we have to have some such format now. We can't just like that. We are not God. We can't do that exactly 7 marks like that. No. Start somewhere. See how the student is developing the answer. Quoting section number, give more marks. So in that process, suppose you write a bare minimum answer for 3 marks, you'll get 1.5. Slightly better. Form numbers are given correctly. All that blah blah. Then 2 marks. Section number also quoted. Wow, 2.5 marks. Take it. So this is how you have to understand section number knowing or not. So it is your choice. You want to go step ahead, then you have to know section numbers. No, sir, I just want to get 50%, clear the exam and become CA, sir. That's all. Then no problem. What is that? Okay. Like that, you think, no problem. Don't think that if I don't know section number, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Sky won't fall on your head. But form number, try to remember. And again, this is my humble view. Don't take me otherwise. You have a different view. I respect that. Kindly don't mistake that. Okay. Now, consequence of non-registration of a charge. Very technical point. Please remember, if you have a doubt, you can ask me. I will answer. What will happen if the charge is not registered? First of all, under the Companies Act, there are penalties. There are certain, say, punishments like fine, etc., etc. That is there. That is for the company. Okay. But in addition to that, non-registration of charge has serious consequences for the charge holder. Who is the charge holder? Lender. Person who was given the loan, in favor of whom the charge is created. That will also be suffering because non-registration will create a serious problem. It will create 2 problems. First, we'll see what. In case a charge is not registered under the Companies Act 2013, then such a charge will not be recognized. Such a charge shall not be taken into account by the liquidator or any other creditor. So no charge created by a company shall be taken into account by the liquidator or any other creditor unless it is duly registered under the Companies Act and a certificate of registration is given by the registrar. So this is the normal English explanation. In the Bare Act, you will find, in the Act or in the material also you'll find, the charge will become void against the liquidator and other creditors of the company. So what does it mean? What does it mean? This is what it means. What does this mean? This confusing statement. So, if a charge is not registered under the Companies Act, it will not be taken into account by the liquidator or any other creditor. Still, I'm not clear, sir. What are you talking? I'm not able to understand. Correct. I will explain to you again in the form of an example. Imagine Dubakur Limited going into liquidation. Assets are all sold. Obviously, company was badly run. That's all liquidator is getting. But finally, liquidator manages to sell all the assets. If all the money is available in the form of money, cash, imagine 2 boxes of cash liquidator says, I'm going to distribute all the money and close the company up. So he says, obviously, the equity shareholders will get nothing. Even creditors may not get fully insolvency case. But still, you come. I am the insolvency professional. I will settle all of you and go. I have sold all the assets. Financial creditors come stand. Now, when they come, I call all the creditors for a meeting, final meeting. Take your money, get out. That's it. After that, dissolution. Now, I call in a Kalyan Mandapam and all the creditors come, they are milling around and what. Finally, I in the mic, I shout, hello, don't do like this. I want two queues. One queue, secured creditors on my left. All the secured creditors come to my left. Right. Now, all the unsecured creditors on my right. So, I'm facing the audience, left, right. So, daine, secured. Daine, unsecured. Now, which queue will be short or which queue will be long? Think. Common sense. How many secured creditors will be there, Baba? State Bank of India, all the banks will be there, financial institution, maybe some money lenders will be there who are smart, who are given against mortgage. They are not given unsecured, they're given against mortgage of title deeds. So they'll be standing in a small queue. Whereas the unsecured creditors, everybody, operational creditors will be there. Fellow who supplied goods, fellow who auditor, he will also be there. My fee is also pending. Operational creditor, all of us will be there. Man who supplied milk to the canteen, everybody will be there in that queue. Yeah, it will be a long queue, extending even outside the mandapam. Huge queue, like Tirupati Darshan, it will be going. Right. Now, at this juncture, one gentleman comes rushing into the Kalyan Mandapam with a suitcase. And he comes directly to the liquidator. And he says, Mr. Liquidator, I am a creditor. Okay, so no problem. You're come on time. Please, are you a secured creditor or an unsecured creditor? I'm a secured creditor. Oh, so okay, show me. Have you registered the charge? Yeah. Sub-register mein register kiya na? Not the charge. Have you registered the charge with the registrar of companies? Has he given you a certificate of registration? Kya? Certificate of registration? Charge? Nahin. Nahin kiya. Oh, then I am the liquidator and these are the other creditors. We do not take into account your charge. Have you understood the point? Oh, you mean you won't pay my money? No. We will pay the money. Your loan is due, but your security is gone. This charge has become void against the liquidator and the other creditors. So, as far as this hall is concerned, my dear friend, you are a creditor, but only unsecured creditor, not a secured creditor. What should I do? Join the long queue. Go. After I pay these gentlemen, whatever is left over, I'll call all of you. Whatever little I give you also take. Are you able to understand, sir? I hope you understood the story. The story is told to help you to internalize the knowledge. Don't write the story in the exam. Such stories are told by our ancient Indian teachers, like people who told me these stories. And through these stories only, they made us understand the subject. So, and that is how I have learned to teach. So, this story is meant to make you understand this sentence. What does it mean? Charge will become void against the liquidator and other creditors. That means what? Baba, your loan is due. We agree, we have to pay. This shall not prejudice any contract or obligation for repayment of the money. That is secured. I'm sorry, the repayment of the money is there. But security ho gaya, not there. Why? Because you didn't register the charge. So do you have to understand? Who is more affected by non-registration? Of course, company is affected, penalty, blah, blah, blah. More affected is the secured creditor. The secured creditor whose charge is not registered loses his security. If the charge is not registered, he cannot call himself secured creditor. He is reduced to the level of an unsecured creditor. Got it? The company cannot dispute the debt, but the creditor cannot enforce his security. He can only file a suit. Or now you understand now what is long queue. Now with my story, you'll know what is the long queue. So or join the long queue of unsecured credit. Why long queue? Because everybody is there in that queue, boss. That agency will be there. You believe me. All of us will be there. Once the company is insolvent, all the creditors, what to do? See, man borrows from me, runs away. What to do? Okay, creditor. That's all. My karma. This month, enjoy. That's all. What more? If I do not do that, I have to be born again to collect that money from that fellow. My mistake. Next time, I'll be careful in verifying the credentials of a borrower. That's all. This is my learning. Allah has given the learning. Whom to lend, whom not to lend. That's all. That's all. I have to take it as a learning. That's all. Okay. So the real sufferer is the charge holder. Do you agree with that? Yes. What is the remedy available? Before that, let us see whether any question has come from this point. Correct. Some part of the loan is paid and some one part of the asset is being invested. Two charges, sir. You are absolutely correct. On the same property, two charges are created. Two charges. Okay. Whenever a property is offered as a security for a loan, a charge is created. So if there are two charges, two loans, two charges. Who will file the form CHG1? Normally, company. Okay. Unsecured 2 is long, sir. You go and see. You are unsecured creditor, you will know what I'm talking. Okay. So, I don't see any questions from Navneet Moria, but his basic question is, who will file the form CHG1? Now, that is a beautiful question. First instance, normally, it is the duty of the company. CHG1 should be filed only by the company. But suppose they don't file, who is the sufferer? The charge holder. So, what the law says, where the company fails to register that, I repeat, Mr. Maurya, repeat. CHG1 or CHG9, as the case may be, should be filed only by the company. It is the duty of the company to file. But where the company fails to register the charge may be registered by the charge holder. Where the company does not file the charge due to ignorance, bad attitude, criminal intention, whatever, he is not filing, means you file. Which is why most lenders like bank, financial institution, government, etc., when they lend money to you, they will say, as part of the terms, they will say, the charge will be registered at our cost and by us. The charge will be registered by us, but your cost. Whatever is meant, you pay. So they will have their own panel of company secretaries, whom out of that they will select one guy and say, come here, idhar aao, go and file this charge. For Dubagur Limited, you file this charge. So that fellow will come, take all the information, go there, file the charge, get the certificate register of charge and give it to the bank. He'll give it to the company, one copy to the bank. To show that it has been registered. So, where the company fails to register, or sometimes the bank itself will put that as a condition. They will say you have to. So they will keep insisting, boss, you have to follow up with the company, within 30 days, he has to file it. If by 15th day he has not filed it, say common sense, you proceed to file it on your own. Don't wait. Okay, because who is affected? The bank. You are the officer of the bank, you are affected. So if you are the officer in charge for compliance, then you later on in any audit, they will ask you only. So you are in charge of the company at that time, you are in charge of the branch. Why you have not registered it? At that time, you cannot argue. Okay, you're out. So better you inform your company straight away. Sir, this company has not registered the charge. Another 10 days, except 10 days. So please give me permission by email to proceed with the registration on your own. Like that. Okay. Then once you receive the clearance, or maybe clearly in your own company bank SOP, it will be there. In case they don't file within certain period, proceed for registration. You invoke that clause and you proceed. That's all. Okay. Now, in case the charge holder has filed the charge, and then he is entitled to recover from the company the amount of any fees, additional fees, or ad valorem fees. All this we'll see when we come to time limits. Basic fees, or additional fees, or ad valorem fees paid by him to the registrar. In addition to that, most lending institutions, they will also charge you the company secretary fees, all that they will add. In addition to that, this is entitled under the law. Contractually, they will claim. They will say, why I should file? You should have filed. Whatever I spent, you reimburse it to me. And they will simply debit your account and go. So they won't even waste your time. They will debit your account and go. Okay. So failure to register charge shall not absolve the company from its liability in respect of any offense under this chapter. See, later on, we will see punishment under this chapter, 1 lakh, 5 lakhs and all. That is because they have filed the charge. Okay, now the charge is filed. No, you should have filed. So to answer Navneet Maurya's question, it is the company's duty to file, sir. But if they are not filing, what to do? The charge holder may file. Okay. So you understand, Navneet ji, suppose you are asking me this question now, who will file the form CHG1? Now, I can't give an answer straight. Company, no. When I answer, I will answer very carefully. Normally, it is the duty of the company to file the charge under section 77, failing which there will be penal consequences. Nevertheless, since the non-filing of charge will prejudice the interest of the charge holder, I know I'm using complicated English words. I'm behaving like Shashi Tharoor's cousin. But what to do? This is a law paper. Asan English mein kaisa teach karna. See how to teach you like that. Sometimes you have to understand tough words and write it also. So nevertheless, since non-registration of charge will prejudice the interest of the charge holder, the law permits the charge holder to register the charge. If in case the charge holder files the charge, he is entitled to recover. Once you write all this, that becomes a complete answer. I'm not just teaching you the subject. I'm telling you how to write the answer. You should write in sentences which build it. Every sentence should add, so that at the end of that, examiner is satisfied. This gentleman or lady knows the subject. Okay, so this is 78. If you can remember, good. Otherwise, not right. Okay. Now, so normally company must register the charge. If company fails to do so within 30 days, then charge holder may apply. In case the charge holder shall give a notice to the company. If no objection is received, the registrar shall give a notice to the company, because now the charge is being filed by not the company, but by somebody who claims to be a lender. So they will send a notice to the company asking, hey, State Bank of India is filing a charge saying that you have borrowed 50 crores and the sanction is for 200 crores. Is that correct? If we don't receive any reply from you within 14 days, then we will proceed to register the charge. So 14 days is given. No reply, no objection. Then charge will be registered. But in case objection is received, or if the company itself registers a sufficient cause why such charge should not be registered is proved, then the registration, not allow registration. But very rare, sir. No bank will take the trouble of registering it unless it's all valid. Okay. So, but still they give the opportunity to the company to object in case there is any fraudulent charge registration to prevent that. If it is shown, we have not borrowed the money, that Tobacco Bank is wantedly filing like that, then registrar shall not allow registration. Rare, sir, very rare. Today KYC is there, so many things are there. It's not easy to. Okay. So time limits are there. Let us quickly see. See in the exam, this is for charges created before 2/11/2018. Friends, at the time when the ordinance was released, there were many charges which were already registered. Are you able to understand? So 2/11/2008 cut off. On that day, if any charge is there, before 2/11/2018 created. So 2/11, they gave, now you register it under the new law. Are you able to understand? Because the new law, new database, new everything. So again register. So that's a nightmare. That is why they gave 30 days from the date of creation. Obviously, it cannot be registered within 30 days. Therefore, 300 days was given. 300 days. date of creation. Okay. If not, then they said register within 6 months from 2/11/2018, but with additional fees. Okay. Up to 30 days, if you do it, take it. Beyond that, 300 days from creation, you get. No. Then beyond that, 300 days, you not beyond 300 days. If you're still not registered, then count 6 months from 2/11/2018, etc. Now, my dear friends, whatever duration you take, 6 months from 2/11/2018, over long ago. So if you are going to break your head with this provision, I'm bye. But still, since it is there, I'm teaching. But not relevant. Okay. What is relevant is this. This is the current provision. You should remember this well. Charge created on or after 2/11. The 2/11 was the day the ordinance came into effect in that. So up to 1/11, old charges to be registered under the new law. After 2/11, if a new charge is created, then it comes under the new regime. Therefore, this is the provision we have to take. So we have to only worry about this. Do not waste your time. Maybe it's there in the institute material. Maybe, I do not know. But I humbly request you, please, don't break your head on this. It is not worth it. I leave it to you. I'm sorry. Sorry. In my eagerness, I gave the wrong diagram. See, this is not relevant. This is important. So, charge created on or after 2/11/2018. You should register the charge within 30 days of creation. Okay. Okay, I have not registered, sir. Then another 30 days you are given. That is 60 days from date of creation. Another 30 days. So totally 60 from date of creation. But now you have to pay additional fees. What that fees is and all, you don't have to remember, sir. Openly I'm telling you. That and all you need not remember. They cannot ask. It's too bad. Because that's a table, yeah, and it keeps changing. You can just look it up and tell. That and all I need not remember. Though company secretaries may have to remember, we don't have to remember all that. Seriously. If the institute expects you to remember, I think it's not fair. Because why should you remember fees and all? Fees can be looked up and told. There is some fees structure is there based on authorized capital and all. Okay. In fact, such questions are all very fundamental clerical level questions here. Even for example, computation of income under the Income Tax Act, I feel is a clerical level. I mean, rates of tax is clerical, but for computation purpose, you need to know. That is why you have to remember the rates. That is why you have to remember. Because when you are doing a computation problem, you need to compute the tax now for that. And yeah, there, okay, but here this fees and all, why should you do that? This is my view. See, today we are talking about AI, we are talking about artificial intelligence, robotics. Why all that I need to remember it? The AI is going to do it. Register within a further period of 60 days. So, 30 days also gone. Another 30 days also. So gaya. Huh? Then they are saying another 60 days. Enjoy. Register within a further period of 60 days. But now they are saying it cannot be an additional fee. Now the fee will be based on, the fee will be ad valorem or ad valorem or whatever. Yeah, pronunciation is not weak. Ad valorem. Ad valorem fees. What does it mean? It means the fee will be a percentage of value. Ad valorem is a Latin term which means based on value. Ad valorem means based on value. Okay. Ad valorem is a Latin term. Some of you may be, I don't know if you wondered ever, why Latin terms are figuring in law paper. In law, whenever you studied law, right, from Contract Act and sale of goods, nemo dat quod non habet, qui facit per alium facit per se, oberime fide, ignorantia juris non excusat. I mean, These are all legal phrases. Now, why is it in Latin? Why these Latin terms? I'll tell you the reason quickly. English was not the language used in the English courts. Do you know that? Because English was a language. See, when they talk about classical languages, or we say in Tamil, we say Chemmuri, or classical languages, perfect languages. In India, we have only two, Sanskrit and Tamil. These are the two classical languages, which trace their origin more than 200 years. I think 400 years is the criteria. So there is that language literature available 400 or years more. So Greek, Latin, your Sanskrit, Chinese, Arabic, Tamil, we are all classical languages. So Latin, English was not a classical language. English comes much later. French, then only English. So English borrowed from every language. Just like our Hindi, it borrowed from many languages. So Hindi, the original Prakrit was there. Pali was there. Then Gupta period Sanskrit comes, pure Sanskrit comes, Vedic Sanskrit goes away, and you get poetic Sanskrit and Kalidasa and all that. Then that all the three merged together to become what we Hindi. Then the Mughals came, the Persians came, they added, Urdu came, Urdu added to Hindi, English added to Hindi. Then what you have now is Hindi. So the classicality is gone because we can trace its origin from a date nearby. Whereas these languages have origins that are either not traceable or traceable way further. So coming back to the point, English is not a classical language. See, the Romans conquered Britain around 35 BC. 50 BC, Julius Caesar conquered England, that you know from Asterix. So the point here is 50 BC, when the Romans came, they completely changed Britain and Latin became the language. Later on in Constantinople formed the Roman Catholic Church. Latin became the language of the church. Thereafter, it became the language of law. So that across Europe, lawyers were arguing in Latin, which is why for a long time, lawyers needed to learn Latin, including our Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. When he goes to England to study for the bar, he finds very difficult he struggles with Latin. So Latin became, that is why later on, of course, with more usage of English when the British came, we conquered the whole world, their language became the language of thing. So that is how we all speak English. So at that time also, it was convenient to use certain Latin terms. Instead of a lengthy term, we use a Latin term, and sort of these words continue to be used by economists and philosophers and lawyers and lawpayers. Just see, we might ask me, why does it matter to me? And agreed, it will not help you to pass the exam, but it will help you to appreciate the Latin terms and remember them and use them in your answers, thereby increasing the quality of your answer. Okay? It's my humble submission to you. Please don't mistake me. I know, maybe so. Small words get more meaning. You have to sound pompous. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. In case the company failed to register, and that answer I will give you in the next class. Suspense. There is a provision there. Finally, if nothing, then there is one final solution is there, but very, very costly, very, very difficult. Don't even think of that. Please register it within this limit. Okay. If there is a solution is there, I will give it to you. Don't worry. And one more important point I will teach you in the next class. That is, even if you register the charge within the time limit, it doesn't solve your problem. The charge holder's problem will belated registration causes another problem for the charge holder, which we will see in the next class. Not because I want to postpone, but because in this class, I want to spend the remaining portion of the class in giving you a test in the form of a multiple choice questions quickly to enhance our memory. Got it? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a multiple choice questions. Okay. Till say possibly the end of the session. Today I will discuss about 10. But next class maybe another 10 or 15 we will see. Idea is to test. Idea is to give you an opportunity to remember what we discussed up to now and give your answer. So when I put a question on the screen, I will expect some answers to come from you. Are we ready? Okay, ready? So now whatever you learned, we have to see. So occasionally I will pull the chat and I will watch it. So I'm looking for your answers. I have graded these questions on the basis of the level of difficulty. So initial questions will be fairly simple, like this. Just give A, B, C, or D. Easy, easy peasy. Huh? Correct. Everybody got it right. Wow. D section sounds so correct. Sorry, don't. I mean, as we grade up, we'll absolutely correct. Congratulate yourself for giving a right answer. Moving on, those of you who given D or 77, like Navneet ji, are correct. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Trick question. Trick question, sort of. Let us see how the answers pan, and then I will decide. B. Sir, there is one D here from Aditya. I presume that it is the D for the earlier question because everybody else has got it right. B is correct. B is the correct answer. Kyun? Because, friends, the statutory limit is 30 days. Boss, we are allowing you to file it within 60 days, 120 days. That is 90 is nobody's dead. Okay, 90 is nobody's dead. 60 yes. The additional another 30, but additional fee. You are wrong. But why? Because we want to protect the charge holder. Baba. See, 30 days, company secretaries ho gaya. What to do? Now the bank is begging, 30 days over. No, immediately we can't say charge is not valid. No. So they say, okay, another 30 days. The bank itself can file with the additional fee. They can recover it from. Bank also sleeping. Or bank company secretary is also sleeping. Then another 60 days. But this time the penalty is higher. Adwala. Means if the value of the charge is 5 crores, it will be 1% or 2% or 0.5%. So huge amount. Friends, the MCA is a revenue earning department. That is why it has come under Ministry of Finance. Once upon a time, in those days, in 90s and all, till 99, I would say, it was a department of the Ministry of Law and Justice. For your information, it was the Department of Company Affairs under the Ministry of Law and Justice. Then suddenly they went for just like Vivad Se Vishwas, they went for a scheme where they maaf karam. They said you don't have to pay, you file the returns and all that, you rectify, like Pulan Devi and all, I think Jayaprakash Narayan said, all of you come and surrender your rifle. What all crimes you have committed in one shot, we will forgive them, like that and all. So like that, they said, come. So these fellows started coming and paying fees to clear off. Huge money started piling in the ministry. Then, and so Department of Commerce, this is Ministry of Land Justice. It is not a revenue ministry. It is an expenditure ministry. We are allotting budget for that. Why? How come this one is having surplus? Yeah. So immediately they identified, oh, Department of Company Affairs, hello, come here. So immediately they pushed him into Ministry of Finance. And then they created for him his own ministry and said, you are no Ministry of Corporate Affairs. So actually, he is earning money. All these fees are going there. And that all that money is not needed for maintaining the website or paying the salary and all. There will be a surplus which goes to the common revenue. This is my view. I may be wrong. If any person knowing civil service or somebody who is a big shot in political administration and all may correct me if I'm. Okay. What is the primary consequence of a company? See, that's why the word primary is used. There is one more consequence which we will see in the next class. But primary consequence of a company failing to register a charge within the prescribed time, A, B, C, D. Company's directors are imprisoned. Charge is wide against all parties, including the company. Charge holder loses all rights to recover the debt. The charge becomes wide against the company's liquidator and any creditor. Let us see. Yeah, correct. Wow. Hey, you guys are great. Yeah. That's all I can say. You guys are great. Yeah. I love you. Not one non-A. All are A. Okay. So very good. I'm so happy for all of you. Now, coming to the point, you're absolutely correct. And I'm also happy. I really seriously, I appreciate your enthusiasm in answering. So many people are answering. Thank you. Okay. Nobody is. But think about it. The rest of the B, C, and D are absolutely wrong. There is no imprisonment, only fine. Okay? We'll see the penalty, punishment. It is not imprisonable and all. See, they decriminalized the Companies Act in 2020. Many offenses, they had included imprisonment. Okay? They removed all the imprisonment. They decriminalized it. So it's an economic offense. These are all directors. They don't know. No, they were not correctly advised. Not that they have cheated somebody or taken money. Only those cases where there is a fraud or where there is some kind of a mens rea, where the intention to defraud is there. Those cases, they have 440. I think you studied it in prospectus. Now, when there is a misstatement in prospectus, section 445, I think, 10 lakhs, imprisonment, like that will come. Here, no. Charge is wide against, including the company. No. The charge is valid. The debt has to be repaid by the company. This is not an opportunity for the company to run away. No. Company is liable, but the security is gone. The convenient asset which was available to me is gone. I have to now stand in the long queue. When I say long queue, insecure. The charge holder loses all rights to recover. No. He can proceed. He can always go for civil remedies. He can file a money suit. He can even see if he's a finance creditor, he can even go for insolvency. Why not? I can invoke insolvency proceeding. That's a very good method of collection also. So you invoke insolvency proceedings. That's one of your rights. You say, go under section 7 and file. See, so the company will also be worried because if they don't pay you, so it's not as if he has lost his rights, but the security is gone. Okay. One more thing will go, but that is not the primary consequence. That's why we use the word primary consequence. See, in these multiple choice questions, you have to read the question very carefully. Some words are used very carefully. If a company acquires property that is already subject to a charge, within what time frame must it register this charge with the ROC? Let's see if you can answer it. Yeah. Some answers are coming in on the query pad also. So I think I'm getting 30 days here. Yeah, let's see what is the answers given. 447. Thank you, Mr. Linga. Thank you. See, बुढ़ा हो गया नाम याद नहीं है. Sorry. See, at one point in time, my dear friends, I used to know 250 sections of the Companies Act by heart. Now I prefer to remember Vedic scriptures and Upanishad verses by heart rather than company law. Some of you are putting D. Some of you are putting D, some of you are putting. See, my dear friends, is it D or C? Very good. I'm having this. Some of you are having D. Those who feel it is D, kindly remember, I'm going to acquire the property subject to a charge. That charge might have been created anytime in the past. How can I measure 30 days? Whereas, date of acquisition, I will know that. So that is the logic of C. Okay, C is the correct answer. Logic is this. Okay, if I acquire the property, the charge might have been created before. But date of acquisition is when I get it. See, are you able to understand? You get, yeah. Sometimes basics work better. I didn't understand your point, Anilji. You have to elaborate it for me. What you are telling? I'm not able to understand. Maybe since it's very short and crisp, I am not able to get the meaning of what you're saying. If it is a good comment, I'm thankful to you. If it is a critical comment, I'm not able to understand and change myself and improve myself. This is something I have not taught you. Let us see whether you will be able to give an answer on your own intelligence. For that, your knowledge of share capital and debentures will be useful to you. See, knowledge is not discrete. It is cumulative. I mean, you learn something, you add to that knowledge. You learn this, tomorrow you learn that, day after tomorrow another. No. What you learn, you add. That is the real knowledge. Charge is created on the uncalled capital of a company. Is this a registrable charge? Many have given the answer C. No, uncalled capital cannot be. Only Mujahid gives me D. Correct. But the correct answer is computer G. B. How? I'll tell you. See, uncalled capital is not in the balance sheet. Please understand. Are you able to understand what I'm saying? Friends, you are all thinking correctly. First level you're thinking is, hey, uncalled capital, balance sheet mein nahi hai na, asset side mein kya? It's not there. But it is like a contingent liability. Don't you think this is a contingent asset? Think about it. See, 10 rupees, which is the only company in India today which has issued partly paid shares. And those partly paid shares are listed on the stock exchange and traded. I think so. I think they are traded. Which is the only company which has issued partly paid shares and which are traded in the stock exchange? No, not Tata. Sounds interesting. If Tata has not done it. Partly paid shares, no, they have not issued. But one company has issued partly paid shares. They paid off all. With the first installment, they paid all the debts. Okay. Okay, I'll give the answer. Reliance Industries Limited, partly paid. You can check out. You go to Money Control and look for Reliance. You'll find two. Reliance partly paid is also listed. Reliance fully paid share also listed. Anyway, so these partly paid shares, Reliance has the right to call. Now, what they can do is they can go to a bank or they can go to a creditor. Or at one stage, the creditor may come and say, look here, you fellows, I'm very worried. Yeah. Okay. Now you are having another, let us say 200 or 300 crore, which can be raised by calling up the balance portion partly paid. Yes. Now, you pass a resolution. It so happens that they pass a special resolution that this uncalled capital cannot be called up except for in the event of winding up, for the purpose of and in the event of winding up of the company. Right? That is one way. So we make it reserve capital. Now they say, boss, you also pass a resolution very clearly saying this money will be used only for repaying my debt. When and ever, it's a contingent asset. As and when you raise the uncalled capital, you call it. Money is collected na, mera hai. It belongs to hamara hai, it belongs to us. You go. You pass a resolution now and you sign an agreement with me saying uncalled capital is also available to you. Thereby, what happened? The uncalled capital is being used for creating a charge. So, yes, you can create a charge on the uncalled capital of the company. Okay, so you can register. In fact, in those days, the old law, they had 9 charges which are 9 charges which are registrable. In that list of 9, you will find a call on the uncalled share capital of the company. A call on calls made but not paid. Even that you can. Calls made but not paid. Even that you can create a charge. So it's a registrable. But now that those types of charges have been removed because they're very archaic, they've removed it. But the principle remains the same. You can create a charge on uncalled capital of the company. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of MCQs. Don't worry about that. But as of now, I will stop here and any questions are there, we can answer. Arrears, how you can do that? Calls in arrears, you cannot. Calls in arrears, you cannot. Okay. Good show. I hope you enjoyed the class, though the topic is a little technical. So you may have to think I will try to make it as much simple as possible to the best of my abilities. I'm very happy. Let us thank you very much, Mr. Navniji. And so let's call it a day and let's move on. And next class will be on the 1st of October when we will finish the topic and more MCQ and more understanding of the topic. Thank you very much. Bye. Yes, sir.